de renforcer les liens entre nos deux pays. Et à cause de ça, nous avons des relations très, très fortes, une base très solide. But it's a base on which we are going to build, and I just wanted to reinforce that fortunately we had Jean Charest for the 40 years, and unfortunately we're going to have you for another 40 years, Jean, but building these relationships. Your Excellency, Dr. Sultan Al Jaber, Your Excellency, Mohammed Al Swedi, Your Excellency, Minister Al-Thani, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, Musaba, thank you for that generous introduction. Thank you for our partners at ADNOC for hosting, and XRG for hosting us today. Je suis très heureux d'être ici aux Émirats Arabes Unis, un partenariat de plus en plus important et dynamique pour le Canada. And I'm especially honored to be addressing this group of business leaders from both our nations, gathered today by the Canada-UAE Business Council. As I just said in French, leaders like Jean Charest, co-chair of the council. But also, if I may add, Valérie Pisano from Mila, whose presence speaks to the depth and the ambition of our partnership. And as was mentioned kindly by Musaba, this is my second time addressing this group. 2 years ago, I had the pleasure of standing in front of you at COP28 in Dubai. Now, a lot has changed since then. I have a new job. More importantly, the world has woken up to some new realities, from trade to technology. And for many, the pace of that change is disorienting, it's threatening. But I suggest that the prescription for success in a world that's more dangerous, divided, a world where technological change is accelerating, the prescription for success is the theme of COP28. Theme His Excellency led with, a theme declared by His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed. That theme, unite, act, and deliver. Now, under Dr. Sultan's leadership, COP28 united the global North and South, and for the first time convened world leaders, CEOs, investors, innovators, civil society from across the whole range, including the whole range of the energy sector. And against all odds and predictions, forged a consensus, officially, but also in the broader rooms, 198 parties officially. And countries and companies at COP28 chose to act. They chose to act. Triple renewable capacity generation, double energy efficiency, achieve near zero methane emissions by the end of this decade, and move towards, in the classic phrase, move towards energy systems beyond unabated fossil fuels. This is the UAE consensus, the strongest global climate agreement in decades, and still the roadmap for us to move forward. Remarkable achievement. And what is important, because consistent with that theme, unite, act, deliver, the UAE is moving rapidly to turn those commitments into reality. Large-scale clean energy investments, under Masdar's leadership. It says in my notes, 50 gigawatts, over 50 gigawatts in clean power. Scratch that out, 70 gigawatts, over 70 gigawatts in clean power. Last month, the world's largest solar, PV, and battery energy storage system ever, achieving baseload solar power. I paused to let that sink in. Baseload solar power. It took me a few days to process this remarkable achievement. Really, truly showing the world where it's headed, where the future is. Now, I'm going to suggest in my few minutes that Unite, Act, Deliver is also how we should describe the historic transformation that's now underway in Canada. And the first aspect of this is unity. Because as Jean knows, and those of you who live in Canada and are active in Canada, Canadians have become united in the face of the fundamental change in U.S. trade policy. That's their choice. That's their right. But they have fundamentally changed their trade policy. We've become united in the face of a more dangerous and divided world and in the face of the opportunities but also the challenges of accelerating technological change. We're having a period of unprecedented cooperation across all levels of governments, across all regions of the countries, and importantly, between the public and private sectors. Now, secondly, we are acting with an ambition that hasn't been seen in generations. As Jean alluded to, we're fast-tracking major projects to transform our economy, breaking down barriers in trade within Canada, between the provinces, and importantly, that's why we're here, finding new partners, deepening our partnerships abroad. In the past few months, we've announced over $115 billion of nation-building projects, including new ports, such as Contrecoeur at the Port of Montreal with DP Ports, energy corridors, critical minerals, clean energy. Projects that better connect our economy, that diversify our drivers of growth, and create reliable partnerships with our friends. Earlier this week, Canada's House of Commons passed our government's first budget. Core objective of that budget is to unleash $1 trillion of investment in Canada over the next 5 years. At the heart of that plan, consistent with COP28, is our climate competitiveness strategy. And that looks to double Canada's clean electricity grid, over 80% clean electricity grid, through a series of incentives, including a clean electricity tax credit, a productivity super deduction, 100% write-off of investments in the sector, and dedicated funds to connect our power grids. We're also expanding tax credits for carbon capture and storage, clean technology, clean hydrogen, clean tech manufacturing. And we're boosting incentives for critical minerals developments, from batteries to solar panels, energy storage systems, including a $2 billion critical minerals sovereign fund to finance new projects, emerging companies, provide price certainty. And we'll spend over $10 billion building the essential infrastructure from the first mile to the mines, through to the trade corridors and ports, out to the world. In parallel, we will expand our defense spending by over $80 billion in the next 5 years, with a skew towards creating huge opportunities in dual-use technologies, from AI to aerospace. And third, in keeping with the spirit of COP28, we're laser-focused on delivering results. As Jean referenced, we're working to double our non-U.S. exports, generating an additional $300 billion in new orders for Canadian resources, manufacturing, technology, and expertise. En moins de 6 mois, nous avons annoncé près d'une douzaine de nouveaux partenariats économiques et sécuritaires répartis sur 4 continents. Nous avons conclu de nouveaux accords avec l'Union européenne en matière de commerce et défense, avec l'Allemagne dans les minéraux critiques. We've signed trade deals and partnerships in all 4 corners of the world in the last 6 months. We've just finalized a comprehensive economic partnership agreement with Indonesia, and we've launched negotiations for new free trade agreements with Thailand and the Philippines, which we intend to finalize alongside our free trade agreement with ASEAN next year. We are re-engaging with global giants, India and China. Now, brings us to today. On the surface, to the uninitiated, Canada and the UAE can appear as different as snow and sand. Yet we're deeply, deeply aligned. At our core, we're both trading nations. And at the heart, we're both homes to builders whose ambitions match the potential of their lands. We're both energy superpowers who can lead in all aspects of the energy transition, particularly in partnership. We have the expertise, the values, and the ambition to help lead the AI revolution through infrastructure, applications, and diffusion. And just as COP28 urged the world to do, Canada and the UAE are uniting, acting, and delivering. This includes in foreign policy. We're uniting to scale up humanitarian relief in Gaza. Our humanitarian relief could not be delivered through Gaza without the partnership with the UAE. Just as we work together to help evacuate and resettle Afghan refugees. And we're acting with determination to grow our relationship. Today, more than 150 Canadian companies operate in the UAE. We already trade over $3 billion annually. Our two-way investment, as you've heard, exceeds $100 billion. A few months ago, under the tutelage of His Excellency Mohammed Al Suwaidi, Canada and the UAE signed an agreement on AI to expand our cooperation on digital infrastructure. And my time in Abu Dhabi has been focused on how we deepen our partnership. Yesterday, Canada and the UAE signed, finally, a Foreign Investment Promotion and Partnership Agreement, or FIPA. It took the spirit of COP to get us to get it done. This will unlock tens of billions of dollars in investment between our two countries. And for Canadians, it's an opportunity to expand for our engineering firms, our construction companies, our aerospace sector, our agri-food, seafood producers, our AI firms. And as we build our investment ties, we're also elevating our trading relationship. I'm very pleased that yesterday the President, His Royal Highness, and I agreed to launch our Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement, or CEPA, the opportunity to take our partnership to a new level, and we will deliver on that in the next year. A landmark agreement that will cut tariffs, remove red tape, expand market access, lower costs for our exporters. You know, this is an economy, $700 billion, over 11 million people. The dedication to lead the AI, dedication and expertise to lead the AI and energy revolutions, truly a magnet for global talent and trade. A globally significant commercial corridor, logistic hub that literally connects every corner of the world. You know, for comparison, for Canadians, when we signed our comprehensive economic partnerships, as Jean will remember, with Chile and Korea, trade doubled in a decade. I'm very confident that Canada and the UAE will achieve much more than that and much faster. Yeah. And, you know, not least because we have what much of the world wants. We're an energy superpower. We possess one of the world's largest resources of critical minerals and rare earths. We are a global leader in AI, in quantum, and life sciences. And we realize it's time to begin to commercialize these strengths for the benefit of humanity. That's why I'm so pleased we're joined by leaders from Mila and Cohere, two of Canada's most prominent entities. And I encourage you in the breaks to speak with them about the opportunities together. You know, one of the things, the many strengths of the UAE that Canada shares is offering investors the certainty that they deserve but all too seldom receive. Speaking for Canada, we're AAA rated. We're fiscally disciplined, financially resilient, and we are anchored in the rule of law. Over the next year, we will take significant measures to elevate our relationship. The Minister of Finance will lead a delegation of Canada's pension funds, $2 trillion of capital, which almost begins to sound significant in the UAE. $2 trillion in capital, the Canadian pension funds. They will come here next year early to deepen existing partnerships and develop new investment opportunities together. Canada's Minister of International Trade will also lead a business delegation here in January with companies from our energy, AI, infrastructure, and agriculture sectors. We welcome UAE investors to visit Canada. I will personally host them to explore investment in Canada's transformative projects. I'm pleased that we're going to add more direct commercial flights between our nations, increasing tourism, cargo, trade. I suspect they won't be enough, so we'll add more. Mila is launching a new partnership with the UAE's Technology Innovation Institute to advance research on AI architecture and open a lab at Mila's facility in Montreal. And this builds on our nascent cooperation in AI and cyber, including BlackBerry's new partnership with the UAE's Cybersecurity Council. There's more to come. I'm pleased that an agreement valued over $1 billion that's in the process of being finalized will expand critical minerals processing capacity in Canada, creating jobs, boosting long-term supply of minerals essential to energy technologies and advanced manufacturing. More on that soon. Now, I'm going to reiterate my invitation to visit Canada, particularly during the World Cup, but also during any time. This is a new chapter in our relationship, a new chapter in our partnership. Friends, in the spirit of COP28, Canada, the UAE are uniting behind our workers, our businesses, our interests, our values. We're acting with the speed and determination to get big things done. We're delivering on a new transformative partnership for the benefit of all our citizens. Le Canada a ce que le monde veut. Canada has what the world wants. Le Canada a les valeurs dont le monde a besoin. We have the values that the world needs. And now we have the ambition to match that of the UAE, to build a new partnership and a better future together. Thank you very much. Merci beaucoup.
Monsieur le Premier ministre, merci beaucoup pour vos remarques. Essentially, thank you very much, Prime Minister, and listening to you, we couldn't help but think, and I speak on behalf of our Business Council, that this is our moment. And for Canada, for the UAE, and there couldn't be a better time for us to be working together. And we are very proud of this vision that you've shared with us. And we are now committed to contributing to make that happen.